So why did we pick this game, the Immaculate Reception?
Well, it's the most famous play still voted on by whomever, sports writers or coaches or fans, as the greatest play in the history of the NFL, which is, we're talking 100 years of history. So it's pretty amazing. Hard to believe it's still the number one play because, as I said, there are a lot of plays. But I think because of the history, Julian, of the Steelers and eventually the rivalry between the Raiders and the fact that it had so much controversy in it, the fact that the owner, Art Rooney, left the press box, went to the locker room to stand up and shake our hands afterwards, telling us, hey, great season, great season. He didn't even see the play.
Yeah.
He didn't know we won.
Yeah. Wow.
I guess for all of those reasons, that's the reason why.
They were a physical team that forced you to match their physicality. And few teams could do that. And, you think about their wide receiving core, Garrett, Monk, Art Monk.
Hall of Famer.
Is a Hall of Famer, as good as it gets. Didier, Warren, and Walker, the tight ends were, they were guys who were committed. They go 2-3 tight ends. They load up. And the first thing you're thinking about, particularly in a three-man front, is we've got to stop the run. We've got to stop the counter. I've got to beat the pullers on the backside, so I cheat maybe 3 inches outside on the guard to make that block for Bostic all the harder. Yeah. And Stark is going to try to get a hand inside while the center's blocking back in the guard tackle pull. And they struggled to run that away from me. So they had to run it to me. And fourth down, I'll never forget, there was a big 4th and 1 in the game. And, they flipped me over to Joe Jacoby because, look, Joe Jacoby 6'8", 320.
Jesus, that's huge.
He's just a big man.
It's in the 80s, too. These are big men.
He's a big man. And
we talk about the game getting so much bigger. I mean, that's a big man.
Well, Joe was an exceptionally big guy. And we knew where the ball was going. They knew where the ball was going. And I'm inside eye on Joe. And, everyone around me was like, this is it. This is kind of a huge moment. And, we stuff it on 4th down. Or on third and short, or 4th and short. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it ended up being one of the bigger plays in the game. Derek Jensen blocks a punt. That's a big thing.
Early.
And ironically,
what a way to start the game.
And ironically enough, backed up second, I think it was 2nd and long. It was the play that ended up beating us earlier in the year.
The screen.
It was Joe Washington on a screen. So what
they went to the other
do?
side, though.
Charlie Sumner, who's an old bear, Earl-legged old bear. There were a lot of bears on our staff, guys that played with Doug Atkins, really, really tough guys. And Charlie was a great coordinator. And we were simple. We ran maybe 2 blitzes a game because our corners didn't have to even get in the huddle because they were in cover 1 or, and our guy from New England, Mike Haynes.
Yeah.
Haynes and Lester Hayes.
Yeah.
And they were 2 very different. Lester was a converted linebacker playing corner from Texas A&M, I think. And Mike Haynes was poetry and, just mirrored what it was kind of like Revis.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that kind of a thing where it was like, well,
was he a smart, did he study a bunch? Because usually what I always saw with the best corners that I played with, they could cheat because they knew situationally what concepts you would run. So they would run the route for you because they were so dialed into formation. That's what I saw with like the best. But there's some guys I don't know that you just say cover him.
Lester, in my mind, who should be in the Hall of Fame, was a weekend in Vegas.
Yeah.
He was up and on you, and it was all or, hit me on a 16.
Yeah.
Mike it was like he was just looking in a mirror and just covered the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And could do it all day long.
Small little town, big farming community. I'd never seen a game until I played in one, right? So I didn't know Purdue was in the Big Ten. I'd never seen a college game. My dad severe polio growing up, right? We didn't do sports. We were into the outdoors, pre-1800 encampments, running around, doing crazy stuff, hawk and knife competition, hunting, fishing.
Did you
So that
watch
was our
that
world.
ESPN stuff, like where they would do like the axing and they
Loved it.
Yeah, and
It was the best, man.
I used to watch it.
You ever watch? You guys know who Marty Stauffer is? You ever heard that name?
No.
Well, I'm Marty Stauffer. Welcome to our wild America. That's like my favorite show growing up, dude. He like take you out and show you neat things. Like, here's a pine marten. They're really clever, and he like film them. I mean, it was awesome, dude. It's almost like Bob Ross meets, like
David Attenborough.
David. Yeah, there we go. Without the British accent. David Attenborough is a badass. So Sir, by the way, Sir David Attenborough. So anyway, that was my world, man. Growing up, small little town. I had no idea you could get a scholarship.
You didn't play high school. You played high school football.
Oh yeah, man. I played. Well, my mom did not want me around, so like I played Pee Wee. I was in football my life, but and terrible, really terrible. I was a tight end. I went to Purdue as a tight end for some unknown reason. I never did anything athletic ever. I was never a tight end in high school.
You keep on saying that, bro. You're like an undersized tackle. You have to be athletic.
Well, no, I have decent short space quickness, I think is what they said. Here's an awesome one, right? So for you, how did they describe you for the combine? Do you remember? Do you remember the write up for yourself?
Quicker than fast. Doesn't have a position.
Do you guys have this write up? Can you guys research this write up? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Quicker than fast. Doesn't have a position. Played against shitty talent.
This is depressing. I wasn't going this route. Get it out though. Get it over with. Because they were wrong. They were dead wrong.
Yeah, they were.
But they describe things, right? Like what I'm getting at is
White guys, smart,
white.
works hard.
Yeah, effort
Hard worker,
guy. Yeah, effort guy. I love how all white guys are effort guys. You know what I mean? Like blazing speed. Nope, he's an effort guy.
Loves the game.
He's a gym rat.
Loves the game. Is in there.
I'm looking here. Kent State staff comments on Julian Edelman from fall 2008. Upper echelon worker, knows his physical limitations, likes to BS.
a lot better than what you said.
Likes to BS.
What's that mean?
Bullshit.
Wonder if he'll start a podcast.
Like yelling at people. I don't know.
We do love to bullshit. Once the ball in his hands, football instincts will help him as a wide receiver. Has the feet to play defensive back. They're right about that.
Yeah, they were.
Most competitive guy I've ever coached.
But that's pretty good remarks. You know what mine said?
What did yours say?
All right, so there's a lot of things that you can say about an offensive lineman, right? Yeah, they talk about lower body strength, has a good wingspan, real good punch, great drive off the ball, initial contact, drops his hips. I mean, there's all kind of really short space quickness, blah, 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 blah. None of that was said for me. You know what mine said? I swear to God. Basically, mine was he's coachable. That's it. He's coachable. And I don't even know why that would even translate to anything that would actually help me get drafted. But basically, I was coachable. And having never seen anything, never seen a draft in my life, when I got drafted by New England, I thought I was going to some other country.
I didn't know where New England was either.
I had no clue, man. I wouldn't have been able to throw a dart and come close.
No, I knew because of Madden. I didn't know where Foxborough was, though.
Never heard of it.
Because you guys were winning Super Bowls, so I used to play with you guys every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh,
Became relevant. Yeah, so that was my world, man. Like I didn't know anything about the game of football. Blessed to do it, and honestly, man, just the people we got in those early years, especially, man. Like I think back on these guys like Roman Pfeiffer and Grant Williams, and man, so many guys that Rodney, man. Oh man, Jermaine Wiggins. Gosh, man, we had Mike Comptons. We had all these guys that we didn't have we weren't individually announced. That was a big deal. But that's because none of us, were above the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I used to always say this, man. Bill could do it the way he did it, and he could drive all of our dicks in the dirt every single day because we were all in the same pit of despair. If there was somebody that was up on a ledge looking down on us that was a teammate, it wouldn't have worked.
No.
When and by the way, there were times that he did show some favoritism, and that's when things got ugly in the locker room.
Defense.
100%.
Defense.
But
if we had a good practice on offense, we had a bad practice as a team.
Yeah,
Like if we dominated the defense, we had a bad practice.
no doubt.
But the elephant in the room leading up to this game, the weather.
Yeah, it was ugly.
It was a snow apocalypse.
16.7 inches of snow. Didn't stop the entire game. 9 inches during the game.
9
alone.
inches.
That's Buffalo.
This is crazy.
I said, boys, let me get the rock. I got you.
You said that pregame?
Yeah, let me get the rock.
Who'd you
I
say
got
it? In front of the whole team, the pregame team? Or is that to the offense?
It's the offense. Boys, let me get the rock. It was a cool game. The cool thing about the snow, what people don't understand is that I love it so much because when I get tackled, it's like falling on pillows.
Yeah.
The big fat dudes hit me, it don't hurt. Think about that. It don't even hurt.
No.
And they can't get their traction, but I can. Sign me up.
It's an advantage. I always played well in the snow as well. I housed a punt in Chicago in the snow.
Did you play any like college games and stuff at all?
Yeah, Northern Illinois.
Okay.
I went to school in Ohio, Kent State. Is this the best snow game of all time?
Nah.
Was you had another good one?
I had 20 yards in the snow before.
Well, before this or after?
Before.
What was it? You were with Philly?
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you play?
Detroit.
Detroit.
You never seen that game? With Megatron, they always show he has all the snow on his helmet.
Yeah, I remember.
That's the game, I think. That's the game, yep. Mm-hmm.
Is it so 200 and then what was this, a 140? Did you have 140 or 150?
152, I believe.
So are you the greatest snow running back of all time?
156, sorry.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know other backs that's played in the snow. You know, I don't.
I'm going to say yes.
I'm saying yes.
It's not a bad answer. It's not a bad answer now, guys. But I don't know. I'm a humble guy, man. I'm humble. Come on now.
Is the cutback the Heisman moment?
I think so. I think it is. I think that was a moment.
That's when you knew you had it? Or were you still
after
nervous?
this game is when I felt like I had solidified it. Because it was still, talk about, some other guys. I think Adrian Peterson was up for the Heisman Trophy this year.
Yeah.
I think
Vince Young.
Vince Young.
D'Angelo Williams was even in the talk.
D'Angelo.
D'Angelo.
Shout out to D'Angelo and Vince, my guys. And that's what I love about, games like this. I've built friendships with guys now that, I played against Vince Young and they beat us and me and him are cool now and friends. And so, it's just great. That's why I love the game. But
I was cool with Vince until I hit him and I broke my back. Fucking, this wasn't like.
When was this?
This wasn't college Vince when he was thin. And so this is Philadelphia Vince when I was playing defense. And Vince was a little thicker. I hit him square in the middle. I broke my back. I led the league in ice hot packs from there on out. That's what my leading stat was.
Oh my God, that's funny, man. Hey, everybody get them moments where you.
No, I hit him.
Oh,
yeah, he was
but
standing
you
like
hit a brick wall.
Brick. And I you go high, you get a penalty because I was playing corner. I had a corner blitz.
Wait, you was playing corner?
Yeah, I played corner with New England for a while. So I had a corner blitz, and
wait,
I wasn't
when
gonna
was
go
this? Why don't I read? Why am I not?
I played like 4 or 5 games at corner when we went to the Super Bowl.
4 or 5 games. You made it sound like it was a couple of years. I'm like,
Nah, but we went to the Super Bowl that year. AFC Championship. I had like.
Why'd you
30
end up playing
plays.
corner?
We were getting guys off the street.
guys
we were banged
hurt.
up.
Guys was hurt. Okay, I do remember this now. I do.
We
Remember
were
this
banged up. Walk me through how you transitioned and like that first training camp, that first whenever you got there, the mini camp. Talk me through that because I couldn't even get into a fucking receiver stance, bro. I watched my rookie mini camps.
Right.
I watched my rookie mini camp recently, or like a year ago, and I'm sitting here looking like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, trying to take off on a fucking release. Walk me through how you transitioned because you didn't even play the goddamn sport.
Yeah, right. What, dude? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's the same for everybody, man. It's the progression. It's the stages, right? That's stage 1 for me and you. That don't change. For me, it was even, probably more complicated. The range of which I had to come from because I didn't play college football.
Yeah.
But I think it served me somewhat of an advantage because I didn't have any, what I would like to consider credit. I didn't have any bad habits. Unlike,
You had a fresh canvas.
right. So I was learning from a clean slate.
But as a
Unlike
perfect
guys-
athlete.
Right, but unlike,
It's not like-
unlike people that's like, you know what I'm saying? They come in, they already learn how to run.
Bad
You learn
habits
how
and
to do.
shit,
So
yeah.
now you trying to change what you learned at Kent State. Or, you know, say a guy come from Michigan or Ohio, they changing what they've already learned for 3 or 4 years. And I didn't have to change nothing. I just had to learn it from the first time. So I felt like it was somewhat easier for me.
Yeah.
Like credit. It's better to have no credit than bad credit, right? So it was like, I felt like it was a little easier transaction. Now, it wasn't easy. I just felt like it was easier. I couldn't get in the stands. You know what I'm saying?
3-point.
Right. I couldn't understand motion.
You still really
You got to
couldn't.
remember,
You
I'm
never
here.
really did. I
Right.
remember your little-
Yeah.
like this.
Right. I'm not, I'm trying to see what the coverage is
seen
at.
your
Right.
3-point.
So I got to a point, I was so bad, they just told me to just stand up. I just do what you want to do, Gates. Yeah, I would stand up at the end of the line. And I would do whatever because they got to be worried about what I'm doing at this point. Why I'm worried about what they doing. So yeah, it got to that level. But the idea was I just remember watching who I thought. Like when you said watching who I thought.
Who was your guy?
I mean, we had a guy named Eric Parker who played receiver from Tennessee, and he was our starting receiver. And obviously, you know, we had Keenan McCarter who came along. But Eric Parker, to me, initially was a guy who ran routes to the T.
Yeah.
Dropped his weight. I mean, coming at you full speed, drop his weight. And 2 or 3 steps, he coming out. He ain't overstepping to come
Efficient.
out. Like, just everything.
Get
And
up
I'm
on
like,
your toes.
And I'm like, this is why he's starting.
Yeah.
Simple. This is why he's starting, right? And then as I matured and I got a chance to go to the Pro Bowls and I started watching Marvin Harrison, he was another guy that I would watch in practice and like, this is crazy. To me, this is perfect. To me.
Yeah.
You know, even though I'm playing tight end, I'm still with the vision of what I think a perfect route runner looks like.
Going to the draft, it was like I just kept hearing that song by Eminem. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to, opportunities come once in a lifetime. That song just kept going off inside my mind. Then when I got to the combine, I started listening to that song. And I knew I was only going to get one shot. And if I didn't capitalize on it, that was it. Because being at Maryland, I was up for the Mackey every week and things of that nature, but they didn't talk about me much. It was always Mercedes Lewis. He was the big shot when it came to the tight end position.
Yeah.
And I knew that I had to go to this combine and I had to outperform everyone. And I did. And in between that time, after I had my performance and getting drafted, there was my agent was coming up to me. He's like, you got a shot. You got a chance to get drafted in the top 10. Top 10. It's always top 10. But I would go to these meetings and I started meeting with these teams. You meet with the teams and things of that nature. And I met with the Jets. And I knew they had the 4th pick. They had the 4th pick in the draft. I said, I'm about to be top 4. I'm about to be top. And they loved me. I mean, we sat there, we watched film, and they were talking about how they were going to utilize me at the position. I just knew they were going to take me.
Who'd they take?
DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
Not a bad pick.
I put my head on the table and said, oh, man.
You wanted to be in the Big Apple? You wanted to be in the Big Apple.
I wanted to be in the Big Apple.
First playoff game.
Boy, did he leave an impact.
Big time.
What were the stats?
Do it all.
120.
9
rushing
catches,
touchdown.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, interception.
Fumble recovery.
Let me make sure we get it right so we can put some shine on this. 9 catches, 121 yards, 10 rush yards, 2 touchdowns. Should have been 3. Called him down the 1-on-1. That was BS. An interception and a fumble recovery.
I got called down on the 1.
Yeah, there was one in the second
on
quarter.
that pop.
Chris Martin punched.
It was like a seam throw of some sort in the red area.
And I fell down?
Nah, you got tackled on the 1. Like you went up for the ball and like
I don't even remember.
See, that's when you know.
Now that you told me that, next time I talk about this game, so I'm gonna let them know. Say shit, I should have had 3 touchdowns.
Should have had 3.
Damn, I should have had 3.
Should have had 3.
I didn't even. Yeah, so yeah, I didn't know that. I don't remember because I really literally have never watched the game.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even remember watching it back to get ready for the AFC Championship game. I don't remember watching the game. I mean, I see the highlights of the game, but not the full game.
You didn't see them very much. I'm just kind of trying to correlate probably divisional round. You take all the bad from it and you move on and you're already thinking about the next game.
This was my first playoff game, but I knew I could play. I'm not even worried about it. That's the least of my worry. But when you don't have a quarterback, sometimes things don't go the way you need to. But I had the hottest quarterback in the National Football League that year was Vinny Testaverde. He came in I think it was 4 games into the season after we benched Glenn Foley. We brought in Vinny. Vinny didn't even play the entire season. And I don't know. I just treated it like a normal game. But that's, that was just the way I always was. And it just happened to be my first playoff game.